Greetings, greetings, greetings. God damn it. Had to clear my throat a little bit. Probably should have cleared my throat before, you know, undoing the mic. Greetings, chat. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, alright. It's gonna be a fantastic day. It's gonna be a fucking incredible day. Oh, Jack. I was doing a test stream last night and I put that text there. Alright. What do we got? What do we got? We only got nothing going on. We had one person in chat. They said, "What's up, Avius?" And, you know what? I'm just going to assume that they're not here anymore. Because, you know what? They don't... Yeah. They might be. They might not be. Either way. I feel vindicated today. I feel astonished and I feel vindicated today. My light's producing a weird fucking shadow. Let me move my light. Alright, let me... The fuck. It's a little bit janky, but we're making it. We're making it through. It's a little bit janky, but it's okay. We'll make it through. Gotta angle it. Okay. So, the plan is rather simple today. Rather simple plan. You know, just like the band The Simple Plan, right? Those were some of my worst days were spent listening to them. So we're not going to really think about The Simple Plan, the band. We're going to think about the simple plan for today's stream. I need to turn off the music. It's distracting the fuck out of me. Alright. Yeah, chat is dog shit. Alright. It's all good. Don't even worry about it. Chat is dog shit. But nah, how are you doing today, man? How are you doing today? No, it's not chat. So chat is showing, right? Like, my chat window is showing. However, it tells me I have 0 views, like, permanently. But, no. Plan is rather simple today. I feel vindicated on a small... minor level. Okay, I feel vindicated on a small minor level because people were treating me like I was a fucking idiot. I had no reason to be talking about stop killing games. I'm just being a fucking I'm fixating like an autist. Okay, that's all I was doing, was fixating like an autist, which, you know what, I was. However, I'm not the only one, it seems, because Pyro, the motherfucker that will milk anything that will get remotely a viewership, decided that this was worth milking. So if Pyro, the man that is a millionaire, producing nothing but bullshit that fucking people will watch on their lunch breaks, most likely, okay? It's not high quality content. However, my entire point is, right? I was right, okay? Motherfuckers were treating me like I was some fucking autist. Nah, the 1 million sub motherfucker has valued my autism, okay? I was right. I got the scoop, okay? The story a day early, alright? So fuck y'all. I win. So we're going to be watching Pyro talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative, and we're just going to spurg out for a little bit, and it's going to be fun. I don't know if I'm gonna do it afterwards, or maybe like I'll cut the stream and come back like later tonight at like fucking 9 o'clock. But I really want to watch fucking FD Signifier interview with fucking what the fuck is his name? It's always something Young. It's 2 letters Young. Let me see if I can pull up the video real quick. Fucking, it's like PF Young. Yeah, PF Young. Yeah. Yeah, there's a fucking PF Young fucking FD Signifier interview, which, you know, I think that could be a fun watch. It could be an interesting watch. I'm not going to fucking lie. I did not like FD Signifier until it was actually the Soy Pill interviewed FD Signifier, and I listened to that fucking interview at my job, and I was just like, wow, I completely had a misunderstanding of this guy. He seems like a rather reasonable gentleman that I would get along with. However, your breadtube content on your YouTube channel, holy fuck, you say some unhinged fucking bullshit sometimes. So yeah, it was a surprising thing. So I think it could be an interesting watch. But past that point, we're going to try to pull up this fucking Pyro video. It's gonna be awesome, alright? Don't even fucking worry about it. And oh yeah, by the way, for me being a boomer, it's not that I'm a boomer, it's that I stick with the tech that I know. Okay, so like the tech that I know, I've been using for like a decade plus at this point. So when I exit my ecosystem, I don't know what the fuck is happening anymore, and that's where the confusion comes from. So it's like it's boomer mentality, but you know, it's fine. Also, I'm still trying to pull up the video. Okay, it's all good though. Based. There we go. Found it. Found it. Yep, there we go. Okay. Alright, we're back in business. Now... we fucking did it. Alright, now we're gonna go here. Here. Oh my god, we did it, boys. We did it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking hearts in chat for the fact that we actually figured something out for once. Oh my god. No, that looks weird. I can't full screen it. Okay, sorry. I was an idiot when I, like, designed the overlay. I can't full screen it. If I full screen it, it's gonna fuck everything up, and you're just gonna see, like... you're gonna see only half the fucking video, and I'm not gonna fix it. I could fix it, but I don't want to fix it, okay? It would be a pain in the ass. It's gonna look weird for a second. And I don't really understand streamer mode and OBS. Like, I understand I can edit shit and then push it to the stream, but I haven't used it yet, so that's tonight's project. Don't worry. That's tonight's project. Either way, we're getting to the video.
Hi, my name is Jason Thor Hall, also known as Pirate Software Online.
We just want there to be prohibit publishers from disabling a game that you paid for.
Ubisoft shut down the game's servers, rendering the game unplayable, which is normal for live service games.
He changed what we were saying the initiative is about, and he completely made up saying that it was about trying to protect single-player games. So that is an advanced tactic that he pulled.
Pirate Software is a creator that is no stranger to controversy. I actually did a video on him quite a while ago talking about this huge drama he was involved in. But recently, unfortunately, he's found himself in some more drama regarding the movement Stop Killing Games. I do want to say as well, the merch shop is now open. So
you lying bitch. You lying bitch. There's nothing recent about any of this. You're talking about 9-month-old drama. You lying bitch.
Limited time merch, especially from the new server.
Nothing recent has happened about this, okay?
Now, there's
this is old drama.
I
want to establish that.
And that usually is a video game company. So you might have noticed with video games, there has been a very fast escalation to try to make as much money out of you as possible. We don't really have new games anymore. We've got remakes, remasters, but more importantly, loot boxes, in-game transactions. And one of my personal favorite things now, for some reason, you pay like $100 to basically be able to play the game 2 days before everyone else can play it. I call that a streamer tax. I will die on that hill, but genuinely that is one of the most stupid things imaginable, especially because, you know, like, let's go back 5-10 years ago, special editions, deluxe editions, usually got some pretty cool stuff. I mean, yeah, okay, there were skins. There were always...
oh, God. What opinion are you looking for? The fucking... the leaks? It's like, it's scumfuck behavior, okay? Because, like... here's the issue, okay? When you do scumfuck behavior like that, you make it less likely for women to engage in that type of behavior in the future, or men, you know? How many of your, like, bros have you been speaking to and they're just like, yeah, I'll never send dick pics to a girl? Yeah, it's because it's scumfucks like Destiny. Right? So it's like, that's my opinion. Regardless of, like, lawsuits and shit like that, if you could sue the motherfucker and make a quick buck off it, yeah, go ahead. Why the fuck not? Right? I don't give a fuck about that. Either way, I just... don't leak people's nudes. It's scumfuck behavior, okay? It's as simple as that. And then, like, don't lie about it and say, like, oh, well, they said it was fine, okay? It's just... all around scumfuck behavior, and he should be ashamed of himself. But he's not. He's not ashamed of himself. In fact, he's like doubling down and fucking victim blaming on Twitter. And okay, guess what? I just said victim blaming. Some motherfuckers are gonna fucking like pop the fuck off and lose their fucking heads. But if you pop on Destiny's Twitter right now, he's fucking like adding Pixie and being like, you're like lying, and the court told you you're not allowed to talk about this. It's like every time I look at fucking Twitter and I see a goddamn Destiny tweet, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to railroad myself. What I mean by railroad myself, have you ever seen a railroad spike? Ah! That's it. That's all. Okay? That's how I feel when I look at Destiny's Twitter.
Skins.
That's my opinion.
Oblivion with its horse armor. That was always the thing, fair enough. But now it really shows that companies like Blizzard and EA, they are just so obsessed with turning a profit and making as much money as possible while probably innovating as little as possible as well. I know I'm naming the big names here, but there are so many gaming companies out there that do not want to innovate. They wish they could just get you as like a little rat running on a wheel over and over, squeezing that dopamine out of you without having to actually do anything. And you keep handing over your credit card to buy some in-game currency every single time. Now, I have heard of the buzzword stop killing games, but I never really looked into it too much. But it seems to be the main focus behind it, of kind of like sticking it to the man and trying to stop these huge monolithic companies just doing whatever they want. But despite the intentions sounding quite noble, not everyone is actually on board with it, especially one of the streamers, Pirate Software. Now, Stop Killing Games, or the acronym SKG, is actually an initiative set up and spearheaded by the YouTuber Accursed Farms. If you know the channel Accursed Farms, you are a certified old head. If you don't, he's most known for this incredibly long-running machinima series called Freeman's Mind. The first episode came out 11 years ago, and it's basically just a playthrough of Half-Life 1, but Accursed Farms narrates over it in the perspective of Gordon Freeman.
Oh, God. What do I do? What I do?
Shutting down.
Oh, no. We are bad people. Oh, shit. That's the ceiling. Where's my helmet?
I remember these.
No. See, this is what I'm talking about. Aliens aren't invading Freeman. You're just being paranoid.
Now, the video series that I know him from is Ross's Game Dungeon, and this was basically where he would play a game and do a full breakdown of it, the mechanics, the story, almost like kind of a narrated playthrough. He actually did a really good video on Deus Ex, and that was 8 years ago.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So this is one thing. I'm very glad fucking Pyro is diving into this. Okay, I'm very happy, and the reason why is because one thing that like made me go, you know, like the fucking for anybody that's ever watched King of the Hill, like that fucking, no, not King of the Hill, Home Improvement. For anyone that's watched Home Improvement, the sound that they make at the start, it makes me make that sound when I found out that I almost called him fucking Louis Rossman. Either way, the fucking Stop Killing Games guy, I made like the weird sound when I realized he had a fucking machinima contract. A fucking machinima contract. Okay, alright, fair enough. And it's like, when he says like, oh, I don't want any of this attention, I don't want any of this fame, I don't want any of this, and then I hear you had a machinima contract? There was a lot of people back in the day that were just posting bullshit to YouTube, right? It was only the guys that wanted to make money that signed with Machinima, right? They got fucked over. Don't get me wrong, they get fucked over, but like, I don't know, it made me make the fucking Home Improvement sound when I realized he had a Machinima contract. I'm not gonna lie.
So old. He did a game dungeon on Deus Ex Human Revolution, and also Deus Ex Invisible War, the console one that everyone absolutely hates. I mean, I swear, like, I remember playing Deus Ex Invisible War as a kid. I did not have a problem with that game. I thought it was really cool, but I was also like 12 years old, and at that age, you're basically impressed by anything. So basically, Accursed Farms started this movement, Stop Killing Games. He was the one to establish it. I mean, a lot of people have been feeling like this for a long time, but he was the first person to actually give a title to the movement. So the entire point of Stop Killing Games, as Accursed Farm quotes, a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games that they have sold to customers. Now, the Stop Killing Games movement did actually get quite a lot of traction. At the minute, the European Citizens Initiative alone has nearly 500,000 signatures. And that is an insane movement, because if you go onto Accursed Farm's channel, you can tell that he's not really a huge YouTuber, especially not anymore. But still, he has created something, a movement that is a lot bigger than him, because a lot of people support this. this. They think that companies, especially in the gaming industry, became really greedy and just want to maximize profit. While
No, I already know all of this information. Okay,
for example,
I see all timelines. That's it.
Out new
this is not pre-watch. I just see everything
every 24 hours. Now that was my little tangent on the side. That's not even the main purpose of Stop Killing Games. The main purpose is actually trying to hold video game companies accountable for basically selling games that have planned obsolescence to try and get you to buy the next title. This is obviously games that have a heavy emphasis on online services, like for example Call of Duty, Battlefront, Overwatch. Star Wars Battlefront 2, as you've seen recently, has had a huge player spike, which is really funny because the game is surprisingly competent. It's mostly because, you know, May the 4th and also Andor ended, and apparently that was a pretty good ending.
Why are people playing Battlefront 2? Why the fuck are people playing Battlefront 2? Realistically, you have so many better... I would play fucking PlanetSide 2 before I play Battlefront 2. Because Battlefront 2 feels like some of the jankiest fucking shit you would ever play. Have you ever played Yoda in Battlefront 2? Okay, have you ever been chasing a motherfucker down as Yoda in Battlefront 2 with your lightsaber? It feels janky as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. I wish it didn't. I wish it felt fucking a lot better. But no, even in 2017, I was like, this feels kind of janky. I'm gonna go back to Destiny 2. Alright, this... a fair try, but even back then, like, I didn't say fair try. Actually, now thinking about it, you can't believe what I said when the game first came out, because I was a very anti-loot box Andy, and that was the epitome of loot boxes. So I'm actually very compromised when it comes to my opinion of Battlefront 2. My bad. I'll apologize for that and retract my statement.
I actually haven't watched Andor. Apparently it's one of the few Star Wars shows that's competent throughout. There is a guy in the show called Kino, so I might actually watch it.
My name is Kino Loy.
The only problem with Star Wars Battlefront 2 at the minute, because it has such a huge player spike, EA
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got 2 views. We moving up.
Brim with hackers. But yeah, one of the biggest problems with online services is game companies will bring out a product, and eventually, over time, which is pretty natural, people lose interest. They move on. But this then reaches the point where the owners basically go, you know what? We'll just shut down the entire servers. So now no one gets to play it, even though at the time when the game came out, you probably paid full price for it. One instance I remember of a very popular game actually shutting down its servers was all the way back when Mass Effect 3 came out. We are going back to old head era here. But Mass Effect 3 was basically the first Mass Effect to have any kind of like multiplayer mode. But then they actually enacted something called Sunset multiplayer, which meant that they were, you know, kind of quietly winding down the servers and you couldn't play the game anymore. Oh no, wait a minute. This was back in 2012. So in fact, the servers for Mass Effect 3 are still up. That Sunset thing I talked about was talking about shutting down the servers for the Wii U on the Nintendo network. So that was basically Nintendo's choice, if anything. I believe that you can actually still
How
play
dare
Mass
they?
Effect
I owned the Wii U copy. You literally have to give me your server binary, okay? Just in case you didn't know, I bought a copy on the Wii U. Give me your fucking server source code.
To this day, despite the fact that the game came out well over 10 years ago. Now, one example that people love to use here about just being completely backhanded by a video game company is Overwatch. If you bought Overwatch day one, you'd be paying around 40 to 60 pounds. For the Americans, that's like about 13 cheeseburgers, and that obviously depends on the version of the game that you got. If you bought the super deluxe special edition where you probably got some gold guns or something, I think you got a you got a Widowmaker skin, a unique Widowmaker skin. It's a shame that Widowmaker sucks to play now. Also,
okay, I think Overwatch is kind of a good example of a game we need to ask ourselves, how badly do we want this preserved? Because, like, okay, I want all games preserved, don't get me wrong. But also, we have to be realistic when we talk about games being preserved. A game of Overwatch takes 12 motherfuckers, okay? That's 12 sons of bitches that you need to play a game of Overwatch. Not only do you need 12 sons of bitches, 6 sons of bitches on each side need to be willing to communicate and work together, okay? So, in 2035, even if we were given the fucking source code by Blizzard themselves and we have Overwatch 1 servers, is anybody going to be playing it? Because I'm sure as fuck not going to get I'm not going to have 12 friends to fucking play Overwatch, all right? That's not gonna happen. I hate to say it. So maybe there would be like a Discord server, right? I could join like the fucking Discord and like hop into some games because they do Overwatch night on the Overwatch Discord server. Yeah, that happens all the time, like with Xbox Live and shit like that. But realistically, am I going to go that far out of my way for Overwatch 1? Am I really going to do that? Does that seem reasonable to go that fucking far out of my way to play like 3 games of Overwatch 1 and experience the original era of Torbjorn? I'm not sure. Like, I loved having a level 2 turret next to a Bastion with a fucking Reinhardt with 2000 shield with a fucking Pocket Mercy. Okay, there was nothing better than what I just described right there. Okay, bunker comp was the shit in Overwatch 1. But those times are past, okay? And we can't go back to it. Alright, it's dead. There are some game experiences we can recreate and relive, and there's others that are just sadly dead, okay? We can't go back to 2016. We can't go back to 2017. Nobody is going to return to OG Torb. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to fucking tell you. I wish. God, I fucking wish. There is nothing I would love more than to just throw out armor packs and hit my fucking turret all day and be gold on damage. It was fucking excellent, but those days are over. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Keep in mind as well, the first Overwatch had no single-player mode attached to it. It was online only. So
for fucking Torb players in chat, bro. No.
Unlike Mass Effect 3, Blizzard decided to shut down the servers for the game. Now, I get it. Overwatch 2 is free to play. I'm really happy for you. But there are people that spent so many cheeseburgers buying the first Overwatch, and they basically have nothing to show for it apart from, oh my god, wow, bro, he's got this skin that you can get 8 years ago and you can't get now. Oh, you know that the same people that will brag about that and think it was a worthwhile purchase are the people that are trying to hunt down one random event
where you had to fucking do like 30
games. I saw
games.
this video on YouTube
yeah, I did that.
Showing off all the
it was fun.
skins in the new Doom game, and I thought, wow, this is quite a long video. Surely there's a lot of skins. There aren't. There's like 3 skins you get in the game by playing the game and beating it on different difficulties. The other like 7 or 8 skins are basically from buying graphics cards or buying pizzas. That is not a joke, by the way. It's basically this new wave of marketing that is just terrible for consumers. Like, I get it. Cosmetics, it's amazing, and companies are soy-facing over the fact that we're hooked on it because it's dopamine. I get to stand out in the game. Unless everyone else buys the skin, then I don't stand out. Then I need to wait for the other skin to drop so I can stand out again. And now everyone else has bought the skin. It is just a self-fulfilling prophecy. I still remember when like the Mrs. Incredible skin dropped for Fortnite. Every little Zoomy was buying that game just because she had a fat ass. I mean, if you want to become really, really cynical, get it?
I wonder if people realize how fucking cooked we are. The future generation is doomed to be gooners, okay? Every fucking company is capitalizing on the gooners. We are fucked, okay? We are absolutely totally fucked. I played Fortnite and I realized half of those fucking skins are goon skins. We are screwed. Fucking cooked.
I said the word, get it? You don't really own anything. You know, like, for example, when you go onto Amazon or you go onto
you shouldn't own your goon skins, okay? If you spent $300 on an Ari skin in League of Legends, that's your fault. Fuck you. You don't own that, okay? The only thing you own is stupidity.
One really good example I have here, talking more about streaming, and I absolutely despise this, is, for example, HBO Max. They have some great shows like The Last of Us. I'm sure there's some other stuff on there as well. But the point is, I can't watch Max unless I basically use a VPN and then log into like a friend's account. And then in the UK, we have Max in the UK, but it's called Now TV, which is owned by Sky, Rupert Murdoch and his like, you know, kind of his children. And they're all from Succession, basically, the cast of Succession. I can watch Max shows through Now TV, but then if I travel to another country, I get region locked to the point that even if I have a VPN on, it knows I've got one. So then I...
Okay. Yeah, but this is... Look, I just want the legal grounds to, let's just say distribute copies of software fairly. Okay, we're going to put it that way. I want a legal framework in which allows me to freely distribute copies, preferably on a let's say a decentralized network where each person will contain a percentage of that file, and we will all share percentages of these files until your file equals 100%. We could possibly call this technology something like torrenting or something like that. Either way, I just want a legal framework to protect that, because it's not just video games, and god damn it, my fucking light keeps falling. Anyway, it's not just video games, and it's not just goon skins that you're going to lose. My daughter, she watches the show called fucking Hilda on Netflix, okay? It's some of the cutest shit in the world, right? And when it comes down to like all of our favorite shows and everything, like all of our cartoons, fucking right behind me, we have a goddamn shelf full of optical media. It's just like seasons upon seasons of fucking cartoons, right? Because like one thing that was like a fucking childhood memory of mine was my tape collection, right? I had a fuck ton of tapes that like my family would pick up on discount from like fucking Blockbuster and shit, right? So I had like every Disney movie, fucking anything you could think of, and I loved it, right? So I wanted to recreate that for my daughter. And we did, and I wanted to purchase Hilda. You literally cannot buy a DVD of Hilda, right? That's just fucking impossible. You can buy a book, but you cannot. A DVD of Hilda simply does not exist. The only way you can watch Hilda is with a Netflix subscription. So what the fuck happens in a decade when Netflix clearly won't have Hilda? Does my daughter not get to fucking experience her childhood show? That's fucking bullshit, okay? That's why we need a framework for, as I was saying, a hypothetical technology that would allow us to, you know, share fucking downloads through a decentralized network. You know, that would be fucking based, wouldn't it? That's all we need. Because the sad fact is, you can make a law that protects video games, but it's not going to protect my daughter's show. And I want to protect my daughter's show just as much as I want to protect my fucking World of Warcraft.
I can't watch the thing that I've paid for just because I'm getting a flight to another country. It's just really backwards, really anti-consumer. I also remember this one time as well when the 28 Days Later, the zombie film that's getting another sequel pretty soon, 28 years later, that recently was changing licensing hands. So 28 Days Later, you couldn't find it anywhere. You couldn't find it on any streaming service. And that was gone for about 2 to 3 months, I think. You can find it now on like Disney Plus or Amazon and stuff. But there was a point where unless you basically had it as a DVD or you pirated it, there is no way that you would be able to watch that film. And I get it, you know, streaming is security, online services are security, but at the same time, that really goes to show that, like, if companies want, or for whatever reason, they can basically just take property away from you that you basically paid for. Now, I get it. I'm not going to be some boomer that's like, well, actually, when 28 Days Later went offline, or when this one game went offline, I had it on disc. I had it on Blu-ray. So,
no, Christine, no, you can't.
Carrying around
don't fall for the fucking propaganda, all right? Don't buy shit online. Hey, don't buy seasons online. That's awful. Don't do that, okay? Buy physical. Okay, if that shit's not in a box, on a fucking CD, you don't own it, all right? That's just how it works, okay? That's why we have Stop Killing Games, okay? That's the problem with games right now. It's you buy it online. That shit ain't real. Fucking you read the TOS, it's like you don't own this, it's fake. It's a lie. You don't own shit. Fucking, we can take your license and throw it away and wipe our ass with it, okay? That's what they'll do. And Nintendo will fucking do that. Just look at the eShop. Fucking WiiWare, alright? All that shit. They wiped their ass with it and said, fuck you. Alright, that's what they'll do with your season your season fucking 1, 2, 3 of Hilda. Yeah, you buy that shit, fucking Amazon Prime in 2031? Fuck you. You don't give a fuck. Our license with the goddamn author, it ran out, and we're not renewing that shit. So no one owns it. No one can use it anymore. Suck our dick. That's it. Fuck you.
With something is really stupid unless you're a collector. That is a different kind of autism I'm not going to get into. Now, I'm doing a bit of a tangent here, but focusing more on the video games. Another example, a couple months ago, Ubisoft actually put out a statement that they shut down online activity for a racing game called The
Crew. If you see physical copies of that, fucking send it to me, all right? I need to buy that.
Players should get comfortable with not owning their games.
Maybe I'm spreading propaganda. Either way,
sarcastically, basically.
The fucking, I might be wrong with Hilda, okay? When I was looking at Amazon and when I was looking at fucking Walmart and Best Buy, I didn't see physical copies of Hilda. I might be wrong with that one example. They might have restocked, okay? But, still stands, okay? I will fucking fight you. I will do that. I'm doing it right now. Either way, the fucking sentiment stands, okay? There's a fucking show somewhere They ain't selling physical copies of that shit. And when it gets deleted, we fucked. Alright, that's it. Well, we're not fucked, okay? Because it's already been backed up. You just have to sail the high seas, okay? That's all we need to do. We need to sail the high seas. As long as we sail the high seas, we're fine. We just need a framework in which we can sail. That's all we need to do. As long as we can sail the high seas, we're good, okay? You know what? We're fact-checking it. We're fucking fact-checking this right now. We're gonna look up Hilda DVDs on stream. We're gonna fucking pull it up. We're gonna see if chat is fucking with me. I might be getting one guide and chat is fucking with me. DVD. Bam. Let's fucking go. Holy fuck. Box set. Oh my god. When was this? When was this? March 2024. I'm a fucking retard. There, we fucking did it on stream, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, did it on... And I'm getting killed by a rogue. Oh my god. I got proven wrong, and I got killed by a rogue. Okay? So, this is a fantastic series of events. Okay? Either way, this review was posted on March of 2024. You do win. I'll give you that. Alright? I was wrong with Hilda. I didn't see this. I only saw the books when I looked it up. Because, like, I saw this. And I also saw this. But I didn't see anything else. So, yeah, I'll give you a dub. I'll give you a dub on that one. I did not see a box set. Alright, however, I am gonna buy this now. Well, not now. I'm not fucking buying it on stream. But, I did in fact need to own this. Wait, no, okay. No, wait. No. Hold up. No. Wait, no, these are books. These are books. This is not a DVD. These are books. The season 1 box set, these are books. Hold up. 1 of 6 books. This is a fucking book. This is not... Yes, no, see, I was right. These are books. These are fucking books. Where are the DVDs at? We're not reading. We can't read. We don't do that. We want shows. These are books, okay? No, actually, I'm not wrong. Where's the fucking DVDs at? No, this is a book. Watch. Hang on. Book. I'm only seeing books. Wait a minute. I think... No, I'm gonna come out of this one with a fucking dub, after all. You thought I was down, but I'm coming out, okay? Okay, this says... It's one... You know, there could be a business in faking these. Because I don't know if this is real, because the only place I've seen this so far is eBay. So they could have bought this. They could have fucking bought this in Canada, because I'm pretty sure this is like a fucking a Canadian show, right? This could be a Canadian exclusive DVD. But there could be business in faking these. I'm not even lying. Not even a little bit. How do you not know it? Okay. Quite simply put, Hilda is a adorable fucking show that reminds me of days of watching DuckTales when I was a kid. Okay, it's frankly, it's wholesome as shit. It's one of the best cartoons that they've probably made in the last fucking 2 decades. Okay, it's incredible. Okay, if you have like a fucking niece or a nephew or a little fucking kid or something, just cut that shit on for them. It's wholesome. It's good. Okay, it's nice. All right. It's a good little show. It's a cute little fucking storyline, okay? It's one of the few things when it comes down, because I'm a fucking hater, okay? You should hear me talk about Frozen. I fucking hate Frozen, okay? But Hilda is adorable, and I cannot shit on Hilda. There's literally nothing problematic about it. In the future fascist state, Hilda is approved because it does, in fact, support family values. All right, it is a fantastically beautiful show. All right, Elon Musk approved. Don't even worry about it. There is no woke media. The only inclusion that you have are the trolls, but don't worry, the trolls in Hilda, they're segregated. They actually built a wall, so it's like, I would say the storyline is very close to South Africa. Okay, they built a wall for segregation to keep the trolls out. Highly recommended. Just watch it. Okay, just watch it. It's a good show. Watch it with kids. Don't watch it if you're 30 by yourself. That would be kind of fucking weird. That's like one of those guys that watch My Little Ponies. You don't want to be that guy. That guy's kind of fucking weird. Also, I'm not seeing Hilda DVDs, so I'm gonna need a fucking I'm gonna need to be directed to this, okay? If you can link me the DVDs, I will accept that I lost. But right now, I'm just seeing books, and I'm not looking for no fucking books. I'm looking for the show. But we're moving back to this.
Saying you will own nothing and be happy. I think we're pretty close to that at the minute. Now, I know I sound like a bit of a negative Nelly. Maybe this isn't so many games, but the Stop Killing Games movement actually did an investigation of 700 titles that had...
Oh yeah, no, my daughter, it's fucking the cutest shit. She will fucking run around the house singing Let It Go. It is some of the like cutest fucking thing. Like, one of the joys of my life is seeing her like wake up in the morning, like twirling her fucking hair, running around singing Let It Go. Okay, that is one of the fucking joys of life that keeps me busting my fucking ass. All right, that right there. It is the cutest shit. She fucking loves Frozen, and she loves Anna specifically. I bought her like a little Anna doll for Christmas, and I swear to fucking God, like her eyes popped out of her fucking skull as soon as she said that. She was like, "Oh no!" Oh my God, she fucking loved it. All right, she loves Frozen. It's the cutest shit.
Some form of online requirement for play, and they found out that 40% of these games are just completely dead. No support from the devs, and they are literally unable to be played. And then another 40% were at risk of being shut down completely. And then only 2% of all of these games that were investigated actually ended up having services that were being supported by the developers using an end-of-life plan, like an actual roadmap. Sounds like I'm talking about someone in a retirement home or something. And then there was another 14% as well, where the community, the players, have actually managed to keep the game up and running by themselves, which if anything reminds me like how Bethesda will release games and then the community basically has to do mod patches for them. I know it's not the same kind of thing, we're talking about online play here, but still I feel like with video games there is a huge group of people that take it upon themselves to fix a game when it should not be their responsibility. I respect it, I commend it, but it's just sad the situation we're in now. So what Stop Killing Games and Accursed Farms are trying to do is get as much support as possible through as many online signatures as they can. Will this do anything?
Nope.
I don't know. The problem is it's not like there's a legal requirement here. I know there's some exceptions, like for example with the UK government, if like something gets so many signatures, Parliament has to like at least try to acknowledge it. They don't have to do anything about it, they can just say no. But I think there's like some requirement they have to acknowledge it. With this, it's more of the private sector, so they might just look the other way. I think the problem is the only real way to like make these companies think, wait, we need to change what we're doing, is if people, you know, stop buying video games.
My understanding when it comes down to the initiative, even if the initiative passed, it's like the equivalent of getting a bill to Congress. As an American, you probably understand how many bills make it to Congress. Kind of defeats the whole drive once you realize, oh, so you're telling me you're busting your ass for 1 million signatures to get your bill on the Congress floor? Do you think Dick Cheney even understands what the fuck you're talking about? Do you think fucking any motherfucker on a Congress floor is going to understand the intricacies about saving World of Warcraft? No. Not at all. Not even a little bit. And then that's the thing that pissed me off when Ross would be like, this is just an initiative. Don't get pissed off about the specific language we use. This is just an initiative. We're going to negotiate this once it actually makes it to Brussels and the Parliament, right? No. Nobody's going to negotiate it, right? It's not like the politicians are going to be negotiating and writing the fucking finer details of the Stop Killing Games initiative. They don't understand anything about stop the killing of games, right? I hate to tell you, but the average guy in France that's in parliament probably doesn't understand the intricacies of DRM. I don't know. Maybe I'm unreasonable for assuming that. Maybe they're a lot smarter. Maybe they do understand the intricacies of video game DRM and how it fucking registers the servers and shit like that, right? Maybe they do. But the fact that they barely understand it when it comes to fucking banking tells me they probably don't, okay? That's just a hunch.
Games or stop buying microtransactions in video games, but they're not going to. And I mean, it's really hard to. What's the alternative? Oh yeah, I'm not going to buy video games anymore. Their practices are like really toxic. Instead, I'm going to browse on Reddit. You could also support indie games as well. Like, for example, I've been playing through this game recently called White Knuckle. It's like a climbing game with horror elements in it. It's really good. Game is very unfair though. 0 out of 10. Anyways, but being serious, if they get enough signatures, they basically could challenge the existing laws that support this practice on the basis of consumer hostility, or they could also get enough signatures that the government might have to actually acknowledge this and make some changes. Like, for example, you know, the EU government, they've made some amazing changes. Like, for example, with the iPhone, they now can't use lightning cables. They have to use USB-C. And that's it. That's all I can think of. I don't even use iPhone. I'm just...
Okay. All right. Yes. Everybody will bring up the iPhone example. Okay, but do you know why the iPhone was able to be passed through the European Union and the Stop Killing Games initiative? You'll have to give a little more explanation. It's because your grandmother owns an iPhone. It's because your grandmother probably also has seen an Android phone. And your grandmother realizes, oh, it's annoying that I have to have 2 cables. We should just have the best cable. That's it. Okay? It was the fact that lightning cables were so dog shit and everyone has to use cell phones that when people went to the fucking European Parliament and said, yeah, we should use Type-C, they were able to understand that because they can whip out their phone and see, oh, yeah, you're right. I don't like having 2 different chargers. It would be a lot simpler if we had one. It would be a lot better for the consumer. That's the reason why they were able to outlaw lightning chargers in the EU. However, when you're talking about the intricacies of saving World of Warcraft, there's not a politician that's going to log on to WoW and know what the fuck you're talking about, okay? They have an iPhone, they understand eyes, charger, your words, charger. Okay, we need to fix the charger. They don't have any framework to work from when you're talking about video game DRM and saving games from their utter annihilation, okay? They don't understand that. Because my last stream, I made an example of this, of most of these politicians will probably think video games have already been saved because they've seen their fucking grandkids playing PS2 games on their iPhone, right? They've seen their kids playing Atari games on their fucking browser. Most of these guys probably think video games are already saved, okay? That's the reason why you have to go into a little more explanation. Just a little bit more. Just a little tiny fucking bit. You can't just be like, I don't know. I'm spurging, okay? I'm spurging myself.
Asking me when I'm out with him, oh, do you have a lightning cable with you? It's like, no, I'm on Android. No, I don't. Now, from the sounds of it, their campaign in the signatures is doing really, really well. They actually managed to acquire a citizens initiative with the support garnered, so they could possibly take all of this to the EU, which is basically every country in Europe except the UK. I'm so happy about Brexit. I love it. I love it. If it wasn't for Brexit, I'd probably still be in Sweden right now.
You're going to lose Northern Ireland because of Brexit. You awoken the fucking Catholics. The fucking Protestant Catholics are fighting for revolution because Brexit was such a bad idea. It's going to be based, okay? We're going back to the good old days. We're going to reunite Ireland. It's going to be fucking cool just because Brexit was so shitty.
now. What a great law. What a great law. I love Brexit. Thank you for that. Now,
Yeah,
if
it
this
was
becomes
fucking
a requirement
great.
for the EU, this could be huge because the EU is basically one of the biggest markets for gaming. Mostly because if you're in the UK, you probably play FIFA or Warzone, and if you're in Germany or Poland, you're racist and you play Counter-Strike. And obviously,
There
it's
you go.
reached the
True.
point right now where the government has to step in because private companies, as we've seen in basically any sector in the world, they won't regulate themselves. Why would they do that? Because regulating yourself usually means sacrificing profits. Now, this sounds like a fair request to not actually kill video games, but Pirate Software, who, like I've said before, I've talked about on the channel, he was very against this. So if you know Pirate Software, he is a streamer and a game dev, and he used to work for Blizzard and also Amazon Game Studios, and that was before setting up his own indie dev company. So Pirate Software actually came out with 2 videos basically in opposition of Ross and his entire...
Hang on. I think Pyro forgot to mention that Thor's dad worked at Blizzard. Did you know Thor's dad was the guy that was the fat guy in South Park? Did you know that was based off of Thor's dad? Did you know the Make Love Not Warcraft episode of South Park was Thor's dad? Yeah, that's his dad. Did you know my dad was the lead of the fucking cinematic division at Blizzard? That's Thor's dad. Did you guys know that? I can show you like 75 fucking shorts where he tells you that just in case you didn't know that. Okay, every time you take a shit, you will figure out that Thor's dad ran the fucking cinematics department at Blizzard. Don't even worry.
point of the project. The thing that I know most about Pirate Software is he has the most
every time you take a shit
streaming stamina
Thor's
I've
dad.
ever seen in my life. Basically, the guy streams most days of the week, usually doing 11, 12-hour streams at a time. I just don't understand that stamina. Like, I respect it. Dude, I do like a 5-6 hour stream. I want to sleep for 2 days. In the first video he put out titled Stop Killing Games, he basically outlines his reasons for not supporting the initiative. I do want to give context here as well. This is a very old video. This came out around 9 months ago. I'm obviously not trying to dig up any old drama here. The reason why I'm talking about it is because Accursed Farms only actually responded to this 9-month-old video pretty recently, a couple of days ago, but we will get into that. Basically, his main argument points out, first
I've been
of all,
challenged.
this is the way the industry works, and it's a standard practice to shut games down
I need the
after
link.
an X amount of years.
On March 31st, 2020,
Christine, I will pull it up on stream right now, but I need the link. All right, I'll pull it up right now. You'll be able to submit your dub on my live stream, okay? And I'm taking this and it's going to be the reaction, so I'll even put it in the fucking channel reaction. You will be immortalized in the channel reaction, but I gotta get the link. All right, I don't trust no screenshots, okay? Because as I said, it could be a really good business to make fake CDs, because all it takes is a really good printer and to buy some CDs in bulk. So like, I think I have a business idea, but yeah, I'm gonna need that link.
24, Ubisoft shut down the game's servers, rendering the game unplayable, which is normal for live service games. The only thing that I can see in here that could be a problem is if they post it as not an online-only experience. But everything that I found online shows that the game was always marketed as online only. If you're going to be buying an online-only game, that means it can only run when it's online. And if the servers need to shut down in the future, far in the future, it makes sense to me for the access to that game to be cut, if it's online only.
Secondly, he basically says it's too expensive to expect companies to be able to keep servers up and running forever.
And there are some people that'll say, well, just make it all single player. Well, I've explained that that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. When you already have sequels out and the game has basically no players left anyway, it makes more sense to just move on. I don't find that to be a problem from the developer perspective, and I understand that people find that to be a problem from the player perspective.
But there is also a point as well that tries to contradict this on the Stop Killing Games website. No, we are not asking that at all, that being running games indefinitely. We're in favor of publishers ending support for a game whenever they choose. What we are asking is that they implement an end-of-life plan to modify or patch the game so that it is run on customer systems with no further support from the company being necessary.
We got the
They then
link,
list the
boys.
number of games.
We got the link. Guys, alright. Alright, this is when I get hacked and my stream token gets taken, right? It'll be like, nah, it was just memes. Now we're promoting fucking Elon Musk crypto token on your channel. What the actual fuck am I looking at? Where did I go just now? You know what? I'm not going to debunk it. It's fine. It's fine. It looks sus, but it is a physical copy. It is a physical. Wait, media. Hey, it's a very sus website. Okay, it's a very suspicious website. But it is what I asked for. So, you know what? I'll give you that. You win. Fucking, that was one hell of a boxing match. We both had some fucking punches in there. But at the end of the day, you fucking pull ahead. So I'll give you this one. It looks very suspicious. And frankly, I would not give them my credit card. But if you did, and you get a CD, then you know what? I'm wrong. And we can leave it at that. Let's get back to this video.
Games that have implemented this, like for example, Gran
Yeah,
Turismo
exactly.
4,
See, you wouldn't even use that shit. It's like, hey, you know, it says DVD, but it's like, fuck. Use your friend's shit, like fucking Cash App it, okay? Don't use anything else.
Mega Man X Drive, Caller's Bane, showing that it is possible for companies to do this. And thirdly, Pirate Software claims that this will basically hurt companies in the long run. Developers will basically stop making live service games if they have to bend the knee to these changes.
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them. And we're going to miss out on adventures like Final Fantasy XIV. And even though I don't play anymore, League of Legends or any other live service game.
You dumb fuck. You fucker. You stupid bitch. You make it harder for opposition like me, you stupid bitch, okay? Final Fantasy. Guys. My bad. That was loud. That was so loud I heard it in my headphones. Okay. Guys, alright. Final Fantasy 14 is still going to get made. Do you know why Final Fantasy 14 is still going to get made? It's because it's funded by Square Enix, a major Japanese developer. Do you know what that means? They have a lot of fucking money. That means if they have to rewrite major parts of their fucking infrastructure or do anything like that or some weird fucking chaotic dumb fuck bullshit, they can do it. They're Square Enix, you know? Overwatch is still going to get made because they can sunset it to where there's 12 motherfuckers in 2036 that can play it. All of these games are still going to get made. However, once you start going down the list and you look at games like, fuck is it called? Lethal Company? Yeah, I don't know if games like Lethal Company would get made. When you start talking to developers and saying, yeah, you might get fucking slapped on the ass with legal fines because people fucking report you to and keep in mind, I'm literally referencing what the Stop Killing Games initiative is. If people are reporting you to a goddamn government agency saying you didn't leave them a playable game and now you're going to have legal fines for that, that's scary as fuck. Me as a developer, I'm not going to give you Lethal Company. That's who's losing. The people that want to play Jackbox, you're not going to get Jackbox anymore. Jackbox, gone. Because one day there is going to be a part of Jackbox that breaks. These developers can't do anything about that. But they're still fucked. They're absolutely 100% fucked. Okay, and that's the issue. That's the reason. Those are the games that aren't going to get made. Final Fantasy 14 is still going to get made. Jackbox is not going to get made. That's the problem.
But also, if you go onto the Stop Killing Games website, this is something they've tried to address as well. The regulations we are seeking would only apply when companies decide to end support for games. At that time, they would need to be converted to have either offline or private hosting modes. Until then, companies can continue running games any way they see fit.
Okay. Christine, they won on a technicality, okay? Yes, the website that they provided is technically a website that sells a DVD of the show I was looking for. However, It's just a question of whether or not you would give them your credit card. Okay, me and Christine, we are answering with a firm no, but your answer could be a yes, in which I would be wrong. So, on technicality, yes, she was right. All right, and we will leave it at that.
And in response to the question of money, Stop Killing Games also says this: the costs associated with implementing this requirement can be very small, if not trivial. Furthermore,
Yeah, I'm a corporate cuck. Yeah, that's it. All right, there you go.
it often takes a company with large resources at its disposal to even construct games of this nature in the first place. Small developers with constrained budgets are less likely to be contributing to this problem. So again, this was a very old video that Pirate Software put out like 9 months ago. It obviously got a bit of traction at the time, but then as the internet is the internet, everyone just basically forgets after a week. 9 months after this entire ordeal went down, Accursed Farms actually commented on the situation involving Pirate Software in a recent live stream. And you can tell from his tone of voice and his energy compared to other announcement videos, you can tell it's taken a toll on him. Like, he is just not happy. Now, what Accursed Farms is accusing Pirate Software of doing here is apparently
Being a bitch. Being a cock-sucking little bitch who's getting on his knees and fucking sucking for capitalism. That's what he's doing. Ross walked up, said, "Fuck you, you cock-sucking motherfucker."
just flat out lying. That being about the nature of Stop Killing Games in order to put his own point across. So Accursed Farms actually believes that Pirate Software recognized that he couldn't lie about the contents of the movement, since he believes that they were pretty black and white with the way that they outlined everything, even having a whole website with a dedicated FAQ section stating their demands. So according to Accursed Farms, apparently Pirate Software twisted the premise of Stop Killing Games from games should have an end-of-life plan, changing that to every company needs to keep all their servers up indefinitely, or they'll be breaking the law.
We just want there to be prohibit publishers from disabling a game that you paid for, and this would be making end-of-life plans mandatory for games that require it. That's it. So there's no like wiggle room on like, well, I'm for this but against this, and then your alternative won't save any games.
So it seems that Accursed Farms thinks that Pirate Software is pulling a bit of a straw man here, not really being accurate with the arguments and making up his own points to basically make it easier to win in a debate. So Accursed Farms claims again that Pirate Software apparently just completely made up that Stop Killing Games was about saving single-player games that have a multiplayer attached to them.
Pirate Software, I'm thinking again. I think part of him realized he couldn't change what was written in the documents. If he didn't report what was in the actual initiative itself, somebody would see that and then he would get called out on.
This is stupid nerd shit. This is unbelievable levels of stupid nerd shit, okay? And I realized this was stupid nerd shit when I'm listening to this and like I'm formulating my thoughts and I'm like, okay, I want to say this. And then I realized how much I have to explain before I said that. And then I realized this is some of the stupidest nerd shit you will ever see. And I think that's why I'm gravitating towards this topic. It's actually pretty nice, but it's baby steps. We need to take it baby steps. I can't just fucking hit you with it, okay? We gotta take our time.
So what he did is he changed what we were saying the initiative is about, and he completely made up saying that it was about trying to protect single-player games. That was made up. We never brought that up anywhere. The fact we had to add that in afterwards.
And Ross also goes on to say that this was a much smaller reason than why Stop Killing Games was set up in the first place. The majority of games that are multiplayer and single-player that shut down their servers, you do still have the option to play them in single-player. Like, for example, Far Cry 3. The servers have been shut down a long time ago. And that sucks. The multiplayer was fun. I especially liked the part where if you got MVP, you could do like a funny taunt to the MVP of the enemy team.
Hurry up!
What?
Let's play!
But yeah, those servers shut down in 2022, but you can still play the campaign for yourself. I mean, my Fat Cry 3 video, like that, if they shut down the entire game, if...
No one cared. Okay. There was a lot of, there's a lot of people that talk about, oh, we need to save like online features, right? There was a lot of games on the PS3 and Xbox 360 that they just they released online parts of the game to put it on the box when you went to go buy it at GameStop, right? These were not like actual fucking good experiences, right? These were not fucking fully fledged fucking online multiplayer experiences. Most of them were dog shit, right? The exceptions were the good games, but most online games for the fucking, well, let me rephrase that. Most single player game. Yeah, see, you didn't even know they had multiplayer. Far Cry 3 is one of those games that I'm talking about that they just had dog shit multiplayer to put it on the fucking box. And so that's what I was bringing back earlier, where it's like we have to ask ourselves what is necessarily reasonable, right? What is reasonable to ask a game company? Is it reasonable to ask the fucking Overwatch team to rebuild Overwatch when there's not going to be a lot of people that want to do fucking Torbjorn in 2040, right? There's not going to be many people that want to do fucking Far Cry 3 multiplayer in 2020, okay? It's already over. It's already done. Nobody gives a fuck, okay? Because if people cared, you could do it, okay? Because people resurrected literally Xbox Live, okay? If they can resurrect Xbox Live and you could literally play online on your fucking Xbox today, if you can do that, they can do anything. But there's just no interest in it. And the idea of we're gonna compel a fucking game developer to give us your fucking intellectual property so we can play a goddamn Far Cry 3 game mode that died 15 years ago is a little fucking ridiculous. But yeah, that's my opinion.
The single player was online only, Far Cry 3 on my main channel, that would never exist as a video. Now, at the time, a lot of people tried to accuse Pirate Software of basically trying to dilute the real movement that Accursed Farms was trying to lead. And also as well, Pirate Software has around 3 million subscribers, which is a huge amount. And Rust, on the other hand, has under 400,000 subscribers. So it's obvious that Pirate Software has a lot more reach, a lot more like clout. But at the same time, like, to be devil's advocate, is that really his fault? He couldn't really, you know, like take away his own subscribers to make the playing field more even. It just feels like a bit of a mute point to me. But Accursed Farms also goes on to say that he tried to reach out to Pirate Software for a dialogue, but he was ignored on multiple occasions.
And then, of course, refuses to talk to me, and then deletes the
Pussy! Oh. Kind of hit that. Alright, my bad. Alright, either way, yeah, he should have talked to him. Alright. Thor fucking dodged the debate like a little bitch, and we don't like that, okay? He should have done it. He popped out, he made 2 fucking videos, okay? And he could have just popped up. He could have been like, yeah, I think you're fucking lying, I think your initiative is dog shit, and I think you're ugly. He could have done that, but he didn't. And you know what? It has now led us to this moment, the fact that he was a little bitch and he didn't just do it, okay? And that's a shame.
video where he says he refused to talk to me and deletes my comment. Yeah, and then he's a much bigger streamer and YouTuber, so I could only do so much against
Absolute
that.
of a shame. Absolute shame.
That he pulled.
But I do want to say as well, apart from Accursed Farms' word, we don't actually have any proof of this. It's basically just what he's saying. I mean, one point he's talking about as well, about his comments being deleted. I'm not sure if those are YouTube comments, but YouTube comments are the most...
I can believe Thor was deleting his comments. I can believe that. I do remember seeing Ross reach out to Thor, like, when all this shit was happening. Like, I remember that, and I remember, like, everyone fucking talking about it, right? So, like, that's all believable. That I'm gonna back up, like, tracks, okay? So there's no real reason to defend Pirate Software on this grounds. The only thing that you should really talk about is, the initiative doesn't really save games outside of compelling companies to give up their source code, which would be in a violation of copyright law. So, it's kind of a problem. Like, even Ross says in his fucking 40-minute Q&A video 9 months ago, he even says that there's nothing that they can do about copyright law. So, like, what legal grounds do you have to make a company give up their source code? Like, I would personally... They have to have, like, a Supreme Court in Europe, I assume. So, like, I would just I would escalate that to their Supreme Court and be like, how the fuck am I supposed to honor this, right? Like, you're telling me I have to give a reasonable playable state, right? My game has to be in a reasonable playable state, or I'm going to accrue fines every month that it's not in a playable state. But for me to provide this game in a playable state, I have to give up my intellectual property. So, are you compelling me to break my, like, intellectual property protections? Like, are you, as the state, compelling me to violate my intellectual property protections? Because if that's what you're doing, yeah, that's violating, like, multiple different fucking conventions and treaties that we have with fucking nations, okay? It's bigger than that at that point. But, yeah, let's just get back to this. It's almost over.
Most unreliable comment system in the entire world, genuinely. Unless someone plucks out your comment and pins it to the top of the page, your comment will be buried. That's one of the reasons why I stopped commenting on YouTube videos, because there's no point. Like, if I comment on a video, I'll probably get 1 like and then 5 replies telling me to piss off. Like, I just gave up doing that. So what's the moral of this video? Don't play AAA games where they might shut down the servers after 5 years or make a sequel every year. Play indie games. Like, for example, a very family-friendly game that I'm playing through right now called White Knuckle. Yep. Don't shut the fucking door. I can't get a grip. Man, dead game. DOA, dead on arrival. Dead game.
The only thing that I'm coping and seething about is the fact that your mom said no to the 3-way with your aunt. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm coping about right now. So, but don't worry, I'll get the yes. I always do. Always have got the yes. So, we'll only be coping for a little bit, man. Soon. Soon it will happen. But, what the fuck? Let me pull up that other motherfucking video that I thought could be an enjoyable watch. An enjoyable experience to be a part of. Did I not put this? Oh, there it is. There it is.
In the last few years, where I've become more sympathetic to the.
Where'd it go?
I don't know what you
There we
label
go.
your. I don't even call it ideology, but just perspective.
There's probably no way in fucking hell we're going to finish this. But, you know, we'll get it started. We'll, you know, we'll go half chub on this, okay? It'll be nice, alright? It'll be fun experience. I don't know what to expect. I don't even know what they're talking about. I haven't seen not a damn thing, okay? I just like watching these two talk. It's fucking fascinating, alright? It's a fascinating experience. I'll take the fucking little window right here. Well, we'll tone it down just a little bit. We'll move it off to the side. That way you guys can see the World of Warcraft. And we'll play the game. We'll play the fucking game and we'll watch this interview. And hopefully it's a good little interview. And if it's not, tell me. We'll shut it off. Or it'll be close to end stream and it won't fucking matter. Either way, this is the content for the rest. Okay? Let's go.
My perspective has changed a lot in the last few years, where I've become more sympathetic to the.
That Pirate Software the Pirate Software, the fucking the Pyro Cynical video about Pirate Software, that was mid. So unbelievably fucking mid, okay? I'm not sure even what he talked about that whole time. That was so fucking mid, okay? If it wasn't for chat, that chat saved that interaction. I don't know what the fuck it is about most Pyro videos, but like, you'll have 1 in 4. And that was not 1 in 4, okay? That was the fucking mid-ass video. I'm not even sure what he said that whole time. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the stream just so I can remember, like, what the fuck even happened during that video. That was a dog shit-ass video, okay? Dog shit-ass video.
I don't know what you would label your. I don't even call it ideology, but just perspective of race consciousness sounds too. Is that too much?
I mean, it's
The reality of race, maybe.
Ooh, then you get into race realism.
Okay, right. I know. There's no way to do that. I know. It's just the whole thing's so fucking fraught.
Consciousness is probably the best term.
Okay.
I'm in a similar boat as you in that the terms, because of the way these conversations go
Fuck
and
it.
certain factions involved.
I'm just chilling out.
Closer
I'm
to
watching
your
this.
end of the
All right,
table.
we're moving it back
Every
up.
time a turn
We're moving
comes,
this
There's some
home.
goofs on your end too.
Well, yeah,
I
but
don't even
we
want to play the
pervert-
game.
we don't
Okay, the
pervert
only games I play
terminology.
now is with
So
controller.
like woke and DEI. Like DEI is just N-word now.
He didn't even no that. If you thought he disagreed with me, then you didn't watch the video. He was more fucking. He was fence riding harder than a fucking Charlie video. Okay, that was the issue. Okay, he was more middle of the fucking road than the little lines that they goddamn paint to make sure that you're not crossing into the other boundary. All right, that was the problem. It was boring. It was milk toast. He had no opinion, okay? He never disagreed with anybody, all right? That's the problem. He was a pussy. Okay, I needed to know. I needed to know what side he was on. And he was a fence-riding little cocksucker, okay? And that was the problem, okay? It was annoying. He literally didn't say anything. That was the problem.
Well, that's just the way.
Oh my god.
Like,
Some of your takes are JJ McCullough level bad. Okay, saying although you would agree with it. You did when JJ said Dave Chappelle is right wing, and I'm like, please stop, please. You would agree though.
Homie, Dave Chappelle, famous right winger Dave Chappelle. You know, I'm also right wing. I like that. Yeah, I'm also right wing.
Wouldn't you? That Dave Chappelle's right wing.
I don't think that Dave Chappelle
Okay.
is a transphobe, and transphobes can be very
fine.
liberal.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle is Dave Chappelle is really just a transphobe. I think Dave Chappelle's probably actually
Dave Chappelle's pretty black conscious.
he's very black conscious. That's
He talks
actually-
about shooting heroin addicted white people all the time. It's hilarious.
that was a pretty funny joke.
What?
Buckshot.
Yep.
That's great. He's a all-time great. I wish he would like get back to his roots. But we're getting off topic.
That's fair. Yeah. The point of
But you were trying to we were bringing up the fact that the terminology is always being perverted. You were trying to get to the fact that you're more sympathetic to race consciousness or
the idea of treating everyone like an individual is, I do still think it's an aspiration.
No. Dave Chappelle will be a part of the centrists, okay? He is like, he will help lead the centrists, okay? That's what we need Dave Chappelle to do. You can't have him. It's just that simple. You cannot have him. Having Dave Chappelle on the right would... You guys already have Donald Trump, right? And since you have Donald Trump, you guys have like a certain aura about you. You already have enough aura. And Dave Chappelle would literally lead to the 1,000-year Reich that was dreamed. And we can't have that. And that's why you can't have Dave Chappelle. It would be too much aura.
Goal, and like one that we still should be striving towards. Like in this conversation, I'm not treating you as an avatar of black people. Like I've seen your videos. I have some at least limited understanding of who you are as a person and all that. Mm-hmm. And I'm leaning much more into that than just some stereotype of a black person. And,
right.
and I would think you wouldn't be talking to me if it wasn't true the other way.
I don't. As I said before, I don't talk to white people that.
Clip it. Like I said before, I don't talk to white people. Fucking clip it. There you go. That's the clip. We got him. We fucking got him.
As I said before, I don't talk to white people that I don't have some insight into, like, more than once. You know what I'm saying?
So practically, yes, colorblindness is something that is a tool that we need to keep in our toolbox and move forward with. But it just is the case where it's the classic psychological rule is the more that you attack in a part of your identity, the more inclination you have to resonate with that identity. So the example I always give is like gay people. It's like gay people are told from birth, oh, if you're gay, you're a satanic degenerate, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, Well, then when they get older, they're like, well, fuck it. We're going to get called satanic and degenerate all the time. So we'll lean into the aesthetic, you know, like the Lil Nas and Sam Smith and all that. It's like, well, why are they doing this deeply anti-Christian shit? It's like, because it's a giant fuck you.
It's also really cool looking. Sam Smith and what's it called? I don't know. Sam Smith. Yeah, I think Sam Smith has like a lot of cool visuals, right? I feel like
beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think I've seen a Sam Smith video since 2014. Whenever right? That's Sam Smith, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Sam Smith, that's the fucking highly flamboyant man. Right? Highly flamboyant singer. Yeah, like that guy. Fucking the dude that sings na na na, like, right? Pretty sure.
But my point is
that may be my degenerate nature as well, as a not at all queer person, but who's always had appreciation for queer imagery. Got a whole Beyonce video dropping probably by the.
I'm gonna be real. I don't like it. All right, I don't like it. I don't like when I don't care if you're gay or you're straight. The moment you walk out with the fucking like, okay, look, I'm not discriminatory, okay? When I see a fucking Lil Nas X video when he's like dry humping the pole for Satan, when I see that, that's like, that makes me uncomfortable just as much as it makes me uncomfortable when I watch a fucking what the fuck is his name? Fuck. The guy that made Beautiful People, what the fuck is it called? Marilyn Manson. Yeah, like I feel uncomfortable to the degree when I'm watching a Lil Nas X video as I do watching a Marilyn Manson video. It's just like, that's not the type of shit that I really vibe towards, right? It's just like, what the fuck? Like, why? But, you know, I respect it. You know, I don't want to fucking outlaw it, but like, yeah, there is a certain level of discomfort that I feel when I see that type of material. It's like, God, what the fuck, right? But like, that's natural, you know. It's fine, and that's the point of it. It's supposed to have that type of reaction, right? And you know, it's ironic as fuck that I'm saying that while I wear a fucking Slipknot shirt. But like, hey, you know, fuck it, to each their own, right?
The end of this conversation.
Nice. But the point is, the more a certain part of your identity is attacked, the greater inclination you have to sympathize with it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm like, okay, especially if you're a minority, you know, in a majority country. So for black people, there's a very practical element of it's just the nature of the demographics that there are less black people. So almost all the time, if you go into a room that's like a random distribution, you're going to be in the minority. And then not even just the identity is being attacked element, but like, you know, if I'm in Dallas and I go into a bar and I see one other Bears fan, and this has happened, immediately we have a connection that, you know, no one else in the room has, just by virtue of being a minority. But the attack on the identity is a big thing. And for me, FD, there's a lot of anti-white racism nowadays. And I gotta be honest, I was talking to a friend who, I don't know if she was in Ohio or had a friend in Ohio or something like that. But basically someone, I think they were from India or something, said something to the effect of, you know, there's too many white people in Ohio.
There you go.
And I'm like, all right, look. Nobody loves colorblindness more than I do. Nobody loves Coleman Hughes. Nobody loves... But I felt in me, like, you're saying there's too many white people in Ohio? How about you shut the fuck up, okay?
Did you?
No, that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
But did you, though?
Yeah, I felt... It felt like... Now, just because I'm angry, I'm like, well, I should go to India and then go. There's too many Indian people in Mumbai. It's like of all the places where there should be a lot of white people, it's Ohio. Okay,
maybe Ohio.
Okay,
maybe.
And so, and then
you're not in like Cincinnati or
and then that's just one. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back of just that, plus all of the bullshit DEI stuff. Mm-hmm. Be less white. Whiteness is the devil. Whiteness is evil. You know, all that shit. It's like. That shit piles on.
I've never cared. But I've also mostly, like, I've never been around, I'll say it how it is. I've never really been around white people much. Like, I've always been like one of the few white guys in my area pretty much my entire fucking life, right? I've always been that guy that's been unique in my area for my whiteness, and the whitest area that I ever lived in was fucking Portland, Oregon, right by the goddamn Nike facility. Not Nike facility. I was 15 minutes away from the Nike headquarters, right? That was the whitest area that I ever lived in. And frankly, I kind of felt uncomfortable. I didn't really get along with anybody. It's just I didn't vibe well, right? So like, I've always been the guy that's like, yeah, I've said the racy shit. I've said the, you know, white devil shit unironically before, right? But that's just like the types of groups that I hung around with, and you know, where I learned my like underlying, you know, reasoning for life and shit like that, right? Those were the people that taught me how to be a good person. So I don't know, like when people have talked shit about white people, I've never really taken that personally, because like when somebody's saying like fuck whitey, you know, shit like that, or I'm trying to be very delicate with the language that I use, because holy fuck, I could not say the things I would normally say on this topic, okay? But like, yeah, like, when it comes down to the really bad shit, the thing that you need to accept, most fucking whatever group of people you're talking about that are directing hate towards white people, they're not hating on the color white, right? They're not hating on the lack of melanin, right? Because most black people are also taught with the concept of, hey, once you fucking start stripping people, of like their identity and shit like that, there's not a lot of white people, quote unquote. You're not white, you're fucking Irish. You're not white, you're Italian. You're not white, you're this. You're not white, you're that. So it doesn't just stop with, you know, black and white. It doesn't just stop with black and Mexican. Most, you know, African American people and shit like that, they understand that. So when they're like hating on white people and shit like that, don't take it so personally. That's why I've never taken it personally, because they're not directing it towards you. They're directing it towards that racist motherfucker on Facebook that claims his Anglo-Saxon heritage. Okay, that's the guy they're talking shit about. They're not directing it towards you. 9 times out of 10, you and him are on the same side. All right, and that's why I've never taken offense to it.
Does it?
Yeah, I'm telling you it does. On my psyche, I see it and I just go, dude, it's so tiring. Constantly.
So no, this is, well, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but it's
no, but my broader point is, you may not like the reasons for it, but that is part of why I'm sympathetic. I'm more sympathetic to like, damn, you know, if all of the people who are in the most neglected neighborhoods are all black, you could say, well, it's just poor is the problem, which again, on paper and in practice, I believe is true. Like, black people are disproportionately poor. So programs that are dedicated just to poor people will disproportionately benefit black people. But you can't strip the element of like, there are people in the inner city in Chicago who have been impoverished since, you know, forever. And to just
since Chicago started, well, you know, I can tell you the history as to when forever actually starts.
Sure. Well, there's many different aspects to it. But my broader point is, what do you think of, because this is definitely an emerging trend. I think the Shiloh Hendricks situation, which I know you haven't looked into much, but that was the white lady who called the black child the N-word. I did a video on it. I basically pointed out, this is a very malformed.
Shiloh Hendricks is fucking wild, bro. Fucking insane, dude. Ooh. Oh, the Shiloh Hendricks situation, bro. Okay, Shiloh Hendricks, for those of you that don't know, is a woman who is now or maybe she hasn't collected the full amount. Either way, she, last time I checked, had over half of her goal of $1 million on fucking one of the FundMe sites. I don't remember which one it was, but she was on one of the, you know, GoFundMe websites. She had over $500,000 after she called an autistic black kid a stupid, yeah, that word. And then, like, her dad the kid's dad walked up, like, started filming the lady, and he was just like, are you gonna say it again? Do you have the balls to say it again? And, you know, like, yeah, she says it again. and flicks him off. And she posted a fucking GoFundMe for that, and was just like, the woke media is canceling me because I stood up for my child, if I remember correctly. And she's gotten over $500,000 from that. What the fuck is wrong with our society? That's all I have to say. How the fuck does that happen?
And, you know, disease-ridden psychological reaction.
How the fuck does that
to
happen?
a real phenomenon, which is like, you know,
this is
at a certain point.
As white, have you?
I have heard of black. I was gonna ask your opinion on this. Black fatigue. Again,
because like I said before we got on, I've avoided online race discourse because, you know, I'm gonna get it back in there eventually.
It's particularly
right?
It's a very healthy, normal.
It's not healthy at all. This is mostly just going in circles. Because, you know, because I don't think we're willing to name the thing. And so that's kind of why I want to drill down. Like, my curiosity lies in what does anti-white racism or anti-whiteness feel?
Look, if you can get $1 million from calling a black kid the N-word at a park, then you can do anything, okay? And I strongly encourage it. More than strongly encourage it, okay? You just have to have a good, catchy video. That's all you gotta do. A good, catchy video, well thought out, a nice Facebook campaign. Anything is possible. Anything is fucking possible.
Feel like from your standpoint?
Like?
Yeah, what does it feel like? What are you afraid of? What is the pain point? Right? And let me say this, and I'm not doing this for the Impression Olympics, because like I
love the Impression Olympics.
I refuse to do
I'm playing it now
on your channel right now, right? But if so a perfect example, my son is plays soccer for a local inner city soccer team, right? And inner city in Atlanta means predominantly white now, like believe it or not. So he is his soccer team in general is maybe 5 to 10% black kids, which means he'll be one of 2 to 3 black kids on his team if he's lucky. The other day, a white kid during tryouts did finger guns at him and said, "Pew, pew, pew, I'm blacker than you." And my son, because he's my son, said, "Don't talk to me like that. You don't know me or else." And this thankfully didn't cause
based response,
right? And the reason why he had that response, because I taught him very early on that he's going to encounter that type of like activity.
Don't talk about family stories like that. Even if you say the based response, all right, you can't tell people the based response. Now, granted, this is like a formal, you know, face-to-face. Yeah, okay, it's a formal face-to-face. So, like, if he feels like he's talking to a friend, which he has said they're friends, okay, then you're like, yeah, just use the personal example. But I don't know, it sounds cringe, okay? It sounds bullshit. It sounds like bullshit. That's the issue. When you say shit like that, it sounds bullshit, okay? Even if it's true, it sounds like bullshit. So, like, you have to make it sound less like bullshit. That's all I'm trying to say.
Whenever he enters into a white space, which, as you pointed out earlier, is going to be a lot of his life. A lot of his life, he's going to be entering into white spaces and encountering white people who, I don't think this boy, like, this is kind of, we talk about like racism. I've said in other videos that it's not about racism being evil. It's about it being like functional. So like, I don't think this little boy was trying to be mean. I don't think he was trying to be racist as it's often discussed. I think he just...
Yeah, see, exactly. It sounds like a Reddit story, okay? Which, don't get me wrong, if I start going through my life and I start telling you, like, some of the fucking, my most proudest moments, you would think it's beyond a fucking Reddit story, right? You would be like, that never fucking happened, cope, capping, lying, but, like, that's why you have to fucking dilute it down a little bit. You can't tell the full truth because the full truth a lot of the time is unfucking believable.
Does not know how to talk to black people because where would he learn that under the circumstances? He does not know what will come off offensive because where would he learn that, right? So, but that encounter is an existential threat to my son. if I don't, one, address him and let him know how to engage with that, and two, depending on how it goes with this team, address a coach or an organizer and say, hey, there are boys on this team that are microaggressing against my son, making it a hostile environment for him, right? And so, like, some of these terms, hostile environment.
By the way, you want to the word microaggression is a microaggression towards me because it triggers me.
I do hate the term, but you know what I'm talking about. Again,
vaguely, yes, I get your.
Yeah. The word microaggression does more harm than good when you use the word microaggression. It makes you sound like some of the worst lefties that has ever existed. Because frankly, the word microaggression was created by a shaved head feminist that worked in the deeper recesses of your HR department. And because of that, we need to banish it back to the shadow realm where it belongs. And we just shouldn't use the word, don't use the term microaggression. It's that simple. As long as you avoid the term microaggression, people will begin to take you considerably more seriously. By a substantial degree. A considerably degree.
There's a lot of reasons why the terms get cooked. I'm not an identity politics guy. I understand the value of identity politics, but I know the identity politics are very much cooked. So we, for not quite aligned reasons, I think agree on this, which is one of the reasons why it's good to talk about it. But I'm asking this because the point I'm trying to get at is other forms of racism carry very explicit like material and existential threats to racial minorities in America. Not to say that you shouldn't feel a way when someone makes an anti-white joke or an anti-white comment in your presence, but I do want to dig into like what is the emotional and psychological response? What is that rooted in for not just you, but for what clearly is, at least online, a growing population of white people who do not think they're racist for this black fatigue thing.
It's like Eddie in the Boondocks. It's an entire generation of Eddie from the Boondocks. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. Eddie Boondocks. Yes. Yes, dude. Okay, yeah, it's this. It's this. This is the thing that FD is trying to talk about, right? It's an entire generation of this. An entire generation. But they're not all of them are rich white guys, but the point of the matter is it's an entire generation of these guys.
Watch my back. I got your front.
A whole ass generation, okay? It's fucking wild, dude. It started with the fucking millennials, but holy shit! Did the Gen Zers beat them?
Damn, chill out, Aladdin Hussein. You know I'm good for it.
Fucking work at a 7-Eleven for a week, and you'll know what I'm talking about. A fucking day. 12 hours, no, an hour.
He got a weapon.
Spend an hour at a 7-Eleven, okay? That's all you need to do.
Gun? What gun? I'm not holding gun. Guys, it's me, Ed. Your father.
Nah, I need the car clip. I saw the car clip. Where the fuck is it? God damn it. Where's my other browser? Yeah, it's this clip. There you go. This is what I was thinking. This is the manifestation of Gen Z.
What did you do?
Yeah, we was in the rack.
What did you do?
We was looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Did you ever find them?
You know goddamn well we ain't find them. What are you, some kind of political humorist? You Gary Trudeau up in this bitch? I was looking for bitches, but they had that carpet shit all over them and I couldn't see what they looked like. All that was really exposed was the eyes, and that wasn't enough for me, cause you know, shit, I'm looking at the eyes can be pretty, and I take that carpet off, and then I got a tragedy.
So this is what FD signifier means by there is now a lot of white people that think they're not racist, right? That's what they're talking about. That's what he means, okay? He's talking about those guys, which if you keep your eyes open and look around, 9 times out of 10, the guy you see doing whippets is the guy FD signifier is referring to.
So, you know,
I mean, it's just, I don't know. If someone says there's too many white people in Ohio, it's like, what do you mean too many? Like that's like it's a bad thing.
We need to divide the white people of Ohio up. That's what we need to do. Okay. We need to fucking, anytime there's a majority of too many people in one area, we just have to send them somewhere else. Fucking even them all out. All right, that's the issue. That will be the the fucking solution to racism. We divide it until all races are even. It's like a fucking an abacus? Like the little thing with all the fucking little things on it. You're like, yeah. Yeah, what we have to divide it like an abacus. We have to get a race divider abacus, and that will solve racism. That's all we need to do.
So were they serious?
Like being white is a bad thing. No, yeah. I mean, again, and to be clear, I'm hearing this secondhand.
Got you.
But yes, he said, or she said that whoever the guy said it was like, unironically, there's too many white people in Ohio.
So
which I'm using that one example, but stuff like that.
No, stuff like that.
You see that online all the time.
There are no consequences for making jokes about white people. There are no consequences.
Sure, yeah, and I'm not even
except for on Twitch if I say cracker, right?
Yeah. I want to do a white racial slur tier list. Racial slur tier list, by the way. I think
that would be funny. I will not be a part of it, but
that's fine.
Watch it in comment.
I'm gonna.
Okay. To my knowledge, I'm white. I'm gonna leave it at that. To my knowledge, I am white, and to my knowledge, actually no, it's not even true. To my knowledge, I would be fucking part Hispanic, part Cuban, and part Native American. And when I say part, both of those, it's like 12% each. And then no, yeah, 12%. My grandfather's full fucking banana boat Cuban, so that means that would be 12%, right? Or is that a quarter? No, that would be a quarter. Yeah, okay, so yeah, there you go. I'm a quarter Cuban? No, nah. Either way, you can figure it out from there. My grandfather, Cuban motherfucker, okay? Cuban ass motherfucker, came from Cuba, okay? That was my grandfather. And then my great-grandmother, full fucking actual like dark-skinned Cherokee woman, all right? So that's my mom's side. My dad's side, I don't know. No fucking idea. So you can do with that what you will. I'm white, all right? I'll just leave it at that. I'm white.
Clip that, you saying that at the beginning of the video. I will not be part of it. Anyway.
But why do you think that what do you think drove here's where I'm getting at. What do you think drove that Indian woman to say that under the circumstances? Like, what was behind that?
That white people are generally bad, and therefore it'd be better if there was less of them. It's the same thing that causes white people to say black fatigue. It's white fatigue. White people, they're oppressive. They're ignorant. They're dumb. All this different, stuff. It'd be better if there were less of them. You're laughing at my trauma. You're laughing at my racial trauma.
Oh, so I think that's uncharitable, but maybe not inaccurate. I think a more accurate, charitable way to frame that is this is a racial minority in a highly polarized minority space for her that is like reasonably fearful or reasonably tired of how that racial minority status affects her day-to-day life. And thus, maybe in a moment of carelessness or callousness, made a comment reflecting that status.
Okay, hold on. So That is a possibility. I would point out what you're doing is you are default making the best case scenario for that, which is fair. Could be true. I don't know this person.
Right. Would
you acknowledge that it is just as likely that maybe she's rich, is completely, in all practical senses, certainly has a much higher status, all things considered, than like your average poor Ohio white person. Probably. Who's, and she just doesn't like white people. Like, do you acknowledge that there's a large number of people like that?
Which two are you referring to me? I don't co-sign either of these guys. I would like to talk to both, but I don't co-sign either of them. I just like listening to them speak. Okay? When it comes to PF Young, there's things that he says that I'm just like, hold up. Why would you even think that? And then there's other things that he says and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty insightful. I never thought of it like that. Okay, I respect that. FD Signifier is a guy that I used to think was an absolute fucking extremist motherfucker, but the problem is with FD, he gets he says things that I agree with in the most retarded way imaginable. Okay? Like when he said, we need to abolish the police, right? When we need to defund and abolish the police, right? Like he unironically said that, and I was like, that's fucking retarded, you need cops, right? And when he said that, he's like, oh yeah, I want them to defund the major police departments, and I want local police departments to look at their own individual communities. And it's like, well, okay, so you're pro-police, you're just pro-local law enforcement for like your own community, right? He's more for like individual county, like he wants more individual counties to have more responsibility over their county, right? That's FD's police reform. But he says it by defund the police, right? And it's when you say that, it's like, well, that sounds retarded. But then when you actually hear his positions, like, oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. So why the fuck are you screaming defund the police? That's not defund the police. You even say you want to fund the police. And like I found this out watching the if you don't believe me, watch his interview he did with fucking the Soy Pill, right? The Soy Pill interview, he gets into this and he talks about it. And like that's when the Soy Pill even asks him about his opinion on police reform, and he goes into it and he explains it. And I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds pretty fucking reasonable. So why the fuck do you sound so goddamn extreme when you talk about it every time? You're like discrediting your position and making a lot of people a lot of people think you're a fucking psycho just because of how you talk about it. All right, it's kind of an issue. Yeah, like he wants like I can't remember how he explained it, but basically he just wants more localized authority in the police department, and he wants more accountability from the community. He wants the community to be able to hold their like local police department accountable and have like their local police department and their local jurisdiction have more responsibility over that one individual community. That's the way he explained it. And like the funny thing is, what he was explaining is what a lot of states is already doing, like what's already going into effect. So it's like, not only is his position actually pretty reasonable when he explains it, most states are already implementing it. When I say most states, blue states, but still, like he's so reasonable, Democrat politicians is pulling the fucking FD policy right now. So yeah, it's just he discredits himself when he fucking talks, okay? He just needs to chill the fuck out, and there'd be a lot of people that would actually like this guy.
Minorities, non-whites, who have that attitude. So, and it's not rooted in any like, well, it's because they're justifiably have white fatigue.
Answering how lefty am I is an interesting question. I am as lefty as the person I'm talking to perceives me as. If you personally ask me, I don't view myself extremely on the far left, right? I want people to I want people to be able to buy shit, okay? I want to solve the solution of people being able to buy shit, and after you can buy shit, let people do whatever the fuck they want. That's my position, right? How we get there, I don't give a fuck, as long as we get there. Now, right now, I would say the way we get there is make people's homes cost less so they're not spending 50% of their income on housing, so they can take that money, save it, invest it, buy a business, fucking get 7 Netflix subscriptions, and go fucking buy a dildo. I don't care. As long as they can spend that money not on rent, right? That would be fine. And as long as repair costs wouldn't cost an arm and a fucking leg, food isn't going to cost you your fucking kidney, and going to the doctor isn't going to make you fucking cry. If we could solve all of these issues, then yeah, I don't give a fuck. I just want people to spend their goddamn money, right? I want the glory days. If you can go spend fucking $400 on a PS3 in 2007, okay? Think about that. People spent that on a PS3 in 2007. We don't have that kind of money now. Right? Like, that was a lot of money in 2007 when motherfuckers were just like, yep, we're gonna do it. However, nowadays, motherfuckers are flipping the fuck out about the Nintendo Switch prices. So it's like, yeah, people don't have that money like they used to, and that's kind of an issue, and that's all I want to fix. So you can perceive me however far left you want. All I want is every person, woman, and child to have enough money to buy whatever fucking console they wish whenever the fuck they want, because that's the sign of growth and positivity and a good society. All right, that's it. That's all.
Teague.
So let's take justifiably out.
Okay.
I feel like that's
Sure.
loaded, right? And I don't know if I want to get into a justifiable bigotry conversation at all ever.
Sure.
But
because then we'd have to talk about Italians, and don't get me started on that.
I thought no, you're Irish.
I'm a mutt. I'm Irish. I'm not Italian. I'm Irish.
Yeah, you had a really good joke
Eastern
about Italians.
Yes, right.
In the document you're talking about.
Correct.
But so like, yes, I can admit that and recognize that there is a realm where bigotry. So like any halfway decent race identity politics scholar will often use the somewhat toothless cop-out that anybody can be bigoted, right?
Which is true.
Which is true. Well, it's the reason why that often gets that statement is often taken poorly is because it's used to deny the concept of anti-white racism, because racism is inherently structural, whereas bigotry is insert a number of things that people feel and believe about people who are different.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, if you're asking me if she can be bigoted and that was rooted in bigotry, yes. And I don't approve of bigotry. You've never heard me make like really lazy cracker jokes in my videos.
I'd laugh if you did, for the record.
They're funny. They are funny, right? Racism, that was the joke. I think I made that joke in the video, is that to be white means that racism is always funny. And that's kind of the thing that I'm all right,
well, to counter your definition though, it's like
Okay, all right, see, it's shit like that Philly says. When you say that, when you just full blank fucking, when you pull out the revolver and you say that, that's gonna piss a lot of people off. That's gonna get some fucking, it's gonna get some quote tweets, if you know what I'm saying, okay? However, once I unpause this, it's probably going to be reasonable, all right? And the reason why I say it's probably going to be reasonable, I could give a reasonable explanation for that, but like, I don't want to, because he's probably going to do it when I unpause it. So let's just continue.
I'm articulating my perspective here. I'm semi trying to like also articulate the people who do go down more the like, no, well, whites got to stick together now. It's like that is forever a stupid position. Mm-hmm. But I believe in the way that you dismantle the calls for white unity is to, this has always been my point, rob them of their valid talking points, right? Like this, and this is why it's partly why I lean into like, of course, anti-white racism is real. And I don't qualify it. And if someone didn't know who I was, they'd be like, oh, is this guy like a white, is he a white supremacist or whatnot? And it's like, no, I'm unabashedly taking the true things that I've seen in my own life, I see everywhere, and robbing it from them, so then I can, in the same breath, just as confidently be like, Yeah, and the calls for like white European solidarity, guys. It's like, have you seen the history of Europe? We killed the fuck out of each other. This isn't like the people who say coexistence is impossible or whatever, or like black fatigue. It's like the amount of the real quick, just on this example, the one that shows up always on Twitter is it's fights at the airport. It's like there's a fight at the airport. Look who it is. It's black people. It's like this is my go-to example all the time. It's like I am a Southwest A-list preferred member. Okay, I've gone through the airport dozens and dozens of times, thousands upon thousands of people, thousands of them being black. Not once ever in any circumstance have I seen anything like that. And if I were to base my views off Twitter, be like, oh, you can't go to the airport in Dallas or whatever, right? It's like
a dangerous place.
Yeah, exactly. It's like not even once have I encountered that. And it's just like and so all these nut jobs, existence or coexistence is impossible. It's like it's insane. But in order to properly address them and properly rob them of whatever sentiment is pushing people towards their perspective, is to be like, yes, of course, the people who say, yeah, there's too many white people in Ohio, like that's fucking ridiculous. And right. It's just and it's a feelings thing, you know, it's a vibes thing. And like to be told there's too many of people that look like me in Ohio. Mm-hmm. Not that it would be better like anywhere else, but it's just like
it's not New York City.
Yeah, but I mean, even that's my point. Even then, it would be bad. But like Ohio, it's even worse.
Comedic. So yeah. So like in many ways, I think your overall framework and logic is reasonable. The thing I think we fight on, the thing that I think people who would judge me for my appearance here would question is the internal mechanism of why anti-white racism is a salient point within those spaces, right? And the challenge becomes, and I don't have a really good, I don't have like I'm developing my analysis on this beyond just simple, the obvious, beyond simple. I'm trying to develop an analysis
beyond the simple critical race theory.
Beyond critical race theory analysis, right? Critical race theory analysis, and this is not to undermine the framework of how that is understood. Yeah. But I also know that just doesn't have any legs in actually engaging with white people, right?
Okay. I'm going to put a pin in that. Well, continue your point.
So
I do want to put a pin in that though.
Because my question would be like to this person in this experience is what about their white? So like, could we create a standard where racial minorities in America were held to account for anti-white jokes and anti-white sentiment?
But even that, it's not about holding anyone to account. Mm-hmm. I don't care about this person; they're irrelevant. Mm-hmm. It's just that I would like that sentiment to not be normalized. Now, you could say the only way to do that is by holding people who do it to.
What he is saying, I will translate for him. It would be kind of cool if fuck that cracker didn't get 1,000 upvotes on Reddit. That would be kind of a cool idea. It would be a nice concept if saying screw Whitey didn't get you an immediate transfer of karma on Reddit. Okay, if that was the idea, then he would not be discussing this. That is all he's trying to say, which, you know what? You could say that's a problem, and to that I would say that is a problem. However, if there's a woman that she can collect $1 million from calling a black kid the N-word in a park, can you imagine how much karma you could get on Reddit if it wasn't bannable? I would say Twitter has proven that, considering how quickly it switched to right-wing as soon as Elon took over. Now, you could say it's a conspiracy, right? But I would say no. Alex Jones has some of the most loyal fan base you will ever fucking see on the internet, right? Or on cable, going back to when he was just in fucking Texas, right? Alex Jones has a very loyal fan base. So does all of those guys. Why? Because a lot of these dudes spend their fucking time online, right? And when you're spending your time online, you can take over a platform with your memes pretty fucking quickly. And that's what happened with Twitter. And once they took over the meme platform and, you know, Elon and shit like that realized they could make money off of it, then why shouldn't they put it to the front page? It's already getting a fuck ton of views on the platform anyway. So, like, yeah, there's like a right-wing push, you could say, but it's only because it's popular, right? Before it was just straight up bannable. Now it's just popular. People want to see that content, and why wouldn't they just promote the popular content? And yeah, that's my point. Like, yes, there's the side of people normalizing hatred against white people, but there's definitely, you know, I remember a few months ago there was a huge problem with everybody for some reason hopping on the bandwagon of talking about how uncivilized fucking Indian people were. So yeah, this is nothing like, you know, just on them. This is not, you know, lefties. This is not just lefties saying negative shit about white people. I would say the lefties saying negative shit about white people are probably some of the most mild racism things that are happening right now. And I don't even think PF Young would disagree with that. Like, if I said that to PF Young, I think he would absolutely, like, grant me that and be like, yeah, you're totally right. And he would probably even go further into details than I am right now, right? I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm just saying, like, it's important to make the distinction, in my opinion.
To account. And I don't necessarily think that. I think it's just, it's like you can destroy memes. Memes can be destroyed simply by reducing the social value around it. And it's not necessarily through stigmatization, but it's just like, it's like pronoun jokes. You know, like, what are you going to identify as an attack helicopter? It's like, even though that was very prescient, I would point out 10, 15 years ago, it's like, if someone makes that joke, it's like, it's like, that's the dumbest thing, you know? It's like, it's not like, well, we need to hold people who make those jokes to account. It's just like, it's not interesting.
So I think we agree on this then. It's kind of like, how do we, so there's a reason why, and that kind of, this is where I'm trying to, like, develop grounded theory with you right now.
Yeah.
There's going back to the example of my son, there's a reason why I've taught my son how to respond to, you know, microaggressions or whatever term we want to use, insensitive racial jokes in his environment. And it's because though in that situation, those jokes are precursors to actual material and existential harm. And in this woman's situation, that's not the case. Now, that doesn't make it okay per se, right? It doesn't make it it doesn't make it an optimal way to engage in racial discourse or trying to figure out and addressing racial problems in America. But the problem I often have with even entertaining anti-white racism is the very premise puts them on the same playing field. And even like adopting that premise, I've already seeded a ton of really important, like, ideological and just interpersonal talking points, let alone realities. Sure. And so not that like, that's in and of itself is a problem. I kind of lost where I was going with the follow up there.
Well, because this is exactly, so this is my question is like, because you and I are having this conversation, which is not, like you said, not necessarily not the norm. I'm certainly the furthest right person you've talked to, which is hilarious, by the way, because you should meet some right.
I talked to Sitch and Adam.
Yeah,
and understand, like, I remember, I think I've told this story. I used to be like the type of guy to, like, argue with white supremacists online all the time, like, once upon a time. So, like, this is familiar territory.
That's fair. Well, white supremacists are not the best that the whites have to offer. Okay, the whites have plenty.
You just compared him to a white supremacist. That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up. I'm getting to the end of this point, but when they move to the next point, we're not moving to the next point, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That's
great
it.
To offer. All right.
No.
Bo Burnham, J-Reg. But That's sad that those were my first two. Not J-Rec. J-Rec, that was good. But okay, hold on. But my point is, what is your goal with? I mean, this is just a broad question. Like, what is the goal with what for you? Because you're a very significant influencer when it comes to discussing these issues. Because, like you said, you don't want to. If you're going to compare anti-white racism to anti-black racism, let's say, if you even use the same labels, you're putting them on the same playing field, which has its costs. Whether I disagree with them or not, like the costs are there. The question, though, is looking at it from a more consequentialist perspective of like, what is the practical reality of us discussing it? It's like, do you want white people to become more white conscious or not?
Okay. All right. Hang on. Nope. Wait a minute. Hold up. That is all. That is it for today. All right. That is it for today. Well, not for today. Not for today. I want to come back and I want to do another stream. All right. Because, yesterday and today were my days off. And basically, my plan is I want to stream in the mornings. I want to stream in the mornings and in the evenings on my days off, right? And I was going to stream in the evening yesterday, but I forgot. I wanted to go over this. I debated with Rob Noor. Yeah, that was fucking baseful. I fucking argue. I spurged at Rob Noor for literally 21 minutes. Okay, it was an interesting experience. And then somebody paid $50 to remove me. Okay, someone named Mr. paid $50 fucking dollars to get me to shut the fuck up. Okay, that was an interesting experience. So tomorrow we'll watch that, or tonight we'll watch that. Hopefully tonight, because as I was saying, I was going to stream last night. However, instead of streaming last night, I ended up debating Rob Noor, and then I sat in a VC bullshitting for the rest of the night. So not a very good use of time. However, hopefully we do the stream tonight, and it will be a nice, well thought out experience where we'll possibly watch my debate that I had with Rob Noor. And then finish this video while I do delves on World of Warcraft. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later. Have a great time. Wait, what is chat saying? Are people talking shit? How much for you to shut the fuck up now? Look, we could discuss that. It's going to be a salary, okay? It would be like it'd be how much I need to really consider not doing this whole, YouTube thing. Maybe get even 60K starting off. You wouldn't even have to see me online anymore. I'll make myself disappear forever. Nice even 60K. It'd be fucking nice. Okay? But until then, until I get my